What up, ladies and gents? This is just a super quick announcement to let you guys know that we have started a new YouTube channel on the side of the main one just for all the React content. So we will be keeping that off the main channel and keeping that exclusively for guides and PvP content as usual. And then all the React stuff will go over on the other channel, which is Hydramist TV. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy the video. So this is going to be the hardcore... Wait, this is a PvP one. I'm going to do this one afterwards. This is going to be the hardcore PvE BiS List, but adjusted, right? So it's good because it's for hardcore. It's going to have a little bit more stamina on it. We're going to be a bit more focused on that. Staying alive is important. Getting a bit more health pool rather than running around with 2.7k or whatever HP, which is definitely Moncast. Move camera, can't fully see the gear. Okay, cool. Okay, so as I said, this is going to be a bit more HP focused. We're still caring about like int and spirit to a degree. MP5 where we can get it, and healing, of course. And this is going to end up with about 457 healing. So a little bit less than you would normally have. But we've got more health. We've got 3.7k health, just self-buffed. So obviously if you do a little food buff as well, you'll nearly be at 4k. You'll be able to take a couple of hits and react. Get that fade off, get that fear off, get that lip off, you know, all that good stuff. Get the petri off. It just means you get a one shot less. And that's really important on hardcore because sometimes shit is going to go wrong. And you want to be able to react. And that comes down to 1, your HP, and 2, positioning, right? Make sure you're standing in a good spot for most fights. Don't be standing on top of the tank or, you know, on top of the mobs. You want to be a little bit away. Use that distance to your advantage. So, without further ado, we want to start off with the helm, which is just going to be the green lens. Chuck 100 HP on there when you can get it. A little Librum of Constitution. And you got a couple of other options for helm. One being Cassandra's Grace, pretty easy to get if you've got the funds for it. Just buy off the auction house's BOE, or the Crimson Felt Hat, which you're going to be rolling its DPS for. A little bit less stamina on this, a little bit less healing because obviously it's damage as well. Well-rounded stats, but yeah, the green lens takes the cake here. Second is going to be the animated chain necklace, and there isn't really that much that kind of contests this. Everything else is a fair bit worse, in my opinion. So you really do want to try and get this for PvE. If you're not running this, I mean, you could run like a Tooth of Gnar. It's relatively easy to get, you know, in the meantime. But I would definitely, I mean, you're going to be doing enough Strat Baron runs that there's a good chance you'll be getting this at some point. So that's the one you want to be looking for. Then we got Necropile Mantle on the shoulder, which looks like a weird pick. And your other option is definitely the Kentic Amice. A lot of these other ones aren't in the game until Phase 5, or SOD, I think this one is. But yeah, we value the stam pretty highly. 17 stam is a lot on shoulders. The other options are, yeah, basically Kentic, which is a lot less stamina, but it's got your damage and healing. You got Burial Shawl, which is more damage and healing, but no stam at all. This is what you would normally run them in PvE. And that's kind of it. There isn't really that much, you know, you got Devout, but the stam is so low on that, it isn't really worth it. So yeah, the shoulders, there's not a lot of options. So I've gone for the Necropile because it's a nice way to bolster the stam. Cloak and chest is just the crafted ones, Hide of the Wild and True Faith. You can just level tailoring, grab this and delete tailoring once you've made it. If you want to reroll to NG or whatever else. Yeah, Hide of the Wild. Glossed over that one a bit quick, but Hide of the Wild is definitely the way to go. So much healing on it, is BiS for a while. You've got Cloak of the Cosmos, which is a slightly worse version, but you can get it without any sort of gold investment. So that's from Imolthar, DM West. Braces, there's not that many options. You basically have Sublime Wrist Guards or Necropile. So Necropile if you want a bit more stam, Sublime if you want a bit more healing, basically. I guess you could go Dreadmist, but it's basically just a downgraded Necropile, I would say. For weapons, you got Hammer of Grace, and you've got Brightly Glowing Stone. If you want to go for a staff, then Guiding Stave of Wisdom is pretty good. You've got the Jandis Staff as well if you want a little bit more stamina, but it's got less healing on it, so there's the trade-off. And also Jandis is a pain in the ass, whereas Guiding Stave of Wisdom is just from Emperor and BRD, so you're going to be doing him a bit anyway to get your gloves, which is Hands of Exalted Herald. And there's not really many healing options for this, so that's why I've chosen this item. Even though it doesn't have stamina on, it kind of bolsters your bonus healing, because there's nothing else that's really even close. If you want a stam option, Silkweb Gloves is pretty good. A lot of int on these as well. Other than that, you don't have many choices. So that's why we're going for the Hands of the Exalted Herald. Belt, Whipvine Cord. You basically have two options here. Thuzaden Sash if you want a bit more stam, or Whipvine if you want more healing and MP5. Both decent options. Depends on what you can get, and depends on your other stats as well. If you have the option of both, if you feel like your stam's a little low, you can bolster it with the Thuzaden. And the same is true for the legs, really. You got the Senior Designers Pantaloons or Padres Trousers. They're your two options. The Padres obviously providing a little bit more regen and intellect. The Senior Designers providing more stamina. The healing on both is about the same. Boots. Technically, the best option is Boots of the Full Moon, but nobody kills this guy, and because everyone's just doing tribute. So while you can get the braces off the first boss, because he's relatively easy to farm with resets, actually getting a run where you're going through and killing all the bosses and you end up killing this guy is less common. So these are a pain in the ass to get. So your other options are basically Necropile, which are pretty good, 15 stam, good other stats, and 11 healing. Or you have Dragon Rider Boots, which is a little bit more healing, less stam, or Omnicast. So these are all relatively available, just doing runs that you would normally run. I would say the Necropile are the best. You don't lose that much in the way of healing, and you gain a good bit of stamina. But obviously they're probably slightly harder to get. But you're going to be running a lot of Skolo anyway, so at some point you should be able to get these. Rings, you got the Ford Ring Seal and Emerald Flame Ring. Your other options are basically Rose Wine, which is more healing and regen again, but you lose the stam. Or Cyclopean Band if you're doing any sort of arena runs. This has nice stamina and healing on as well, just a little bit less, so you're just trading basically. And then Trinkets is just the DM Book Trinket and Briarwood Reed. And if you want, you could switch the Briarwood Reed out for a Second Wind if you prefer to have that extra mana. Personally, I think the mana's fine, and Briarwood Reed is fine. There's enough rend runs going that you can have a good chance of scooping one of those up. And then Wand, there's basically two options for Wand. You go for Storm Rager for the 8 stamina, which is really nice, or you just get a green wand of bonus healing, and you can get, like, I believe between 15 to 18 bonus healing depending on how high eye level the wand is. And yeah, that's the full gear set for PvE with the options in there as well. Now, really quickly, because this isn't really what the video is about, but I just wanted to include it. If you are looking to do some sort of duels or Macgoras at 60 or anything like that as Shadow, then this is my Shadow PREBIS list. I'm not going to completely go through all of it. You can see it on the screen, and the BiS list will be in the description. But this is what I'm aiming for personally, or approximate. With 4.3k health self-buffed and around 250 shadow damage are the main important notes here. There is 30 damage on the mace, so you need to be able to get that from MC. If you can get that, then it's fine. But yeah, on the other spec, it would just be healing, right? Can you get healing on mace? I forgot to do the enchant. Depends if you want to spend the gold on PREBIS and assume that somebody's already farmed that from MC.